Hello, folks. I am back with another firearms review. And from the teaser video, you know what this is. This is a Beretta 92X Performance. I had ordered this last year in September, which will be 2019, and I'm just picking this up. It finally came through, and I don't know what the deal was, whether it was a back order or something wrong with the distributor or whatever the case may be. I am happy that I have it now. And in a word, I'm going to have to say this: CZ is in trouble. So I'll explain that a little bit later. Let me go over the specs with you. Let's start with the weight. And it was the first thing I noticed when I picked this up. It is at 47.6 ounces. It's a pretty hefty firearm. The barrel length is going to be 4.9 inches. And it has, for those of you who care, 6 right-hand twist grooves. The overall length of this firearm is going to be 8.7 inches with a width of, and as you see, the nice checkering in the back here, but the width is going to be 1.9 inches. The overall height of this firearm is going to be 5.8 inches with a sight radius of 6.7 inches. The trigger pull, which I had to recalculate out because it's different in the manual. They go by ounces, but with the trigger pull, it's going to be in double action, 6.6 pounds, single action, 3.3 pounds. Let me repeat that again. The trigger pull for double action is 6.6 pounds, and the single action is going to be 3.3 pounds. This is from their manual. I did not measure this. I don't have a trigger gauge for that. When you look at the front sight, there is a fiber optic front sight that is dovetailed. Really nice front sight. Also, you have the what they call a metrical adjustable rear sight. Say that with a full mouthful, and you can adjust this for height or windage. I haven't messed with this. I think it's pretty well uh, sighted in for me anyway, until I get more shooting time on it. The slide and the frame. The slide and the frame is made from a alloy steel, so it is pretty hefty. And as you can see here, the finish is called a nightstand, Nistan finish. It is a really nice silverish type of finish. I don't know if you can really see this really good. It might appear maybe gold color to you, but it's kind of like almost like a satin type finish. And I do like the finish, and I like quite a few things on here, which I will get into. The hammer is well, it's the barrel is cold hammer forged, and that's what gives it a little bit of pop to it. You know, it makes it a little bit kind of like a two-tone finish with the barrel and a couple of the accent of the black safeties, as well as a gas pedal, which the only firearm that I own that has a gas pedal is my TSO. But more on the gas pedal because I want to tell you my shooting impressions with that. All right. It is a double action, single action firearm. To me, it was designed to be run in single action only. But I think the double action there is designed as second strike capability. I'm going to show clear so I won't get reported, all that kind of stuff, and we are clear. And now that the hammer is cocked back, as you see, it is in what they call single action mode, and I just locked it. It's similar to a 1911 configuration. Once the safety is dropped down, and you can use that as a ledge like a 1911. If you notice how it's angled, as well, if you notice the slide stop is angled too, and if you notice the gas pedal, which serves as a takedown lever, is also angled similar in a slant direction. So once you have that down, here's your trigger pull, and there it is right there. Crisp trigger pull. Now I'm going to rack this in single action and look at the reset, and it's right there. That's how the reset is. And then there's your trigger pull. Now, like I said, it does shoot in double action. Double action, there's a pull, 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 click. Now, if you're familiar with any of the Berettas, they do have a click once it reaches a certain point in double action. So as you see here, you see the pull, and then you hear that click. And then it's kind of like prepping the trigger, and the rest is very, very smooth. With the skeletonized hammer here, and it's very, very nice. It also has the extended magazine release button here. It does have grip panels there. They're like a plastic grip panel. Nothing really outstanding about them, but if so desired, if your hand size is a little different, you could put this on, and this will help if you like that traditional curve. Now, the funny thing is, on my M9A3, I use the curved backstrap because it's rubberized and it works for me. This I didn't worry about because this is comfortable for me to shoot, so I don't have to add that. Usually on most firearms, I have to add the additional backstrap. So this was very comfortable. It gives me that 1911-ish feel. Now, I want you to notice the beaver tail safety here, and notice how when I'm up here on here, look how that curves. Now, at first I was concerned that the curve would dig into the web of my hand, but it just fits perfect. And even under recoil, it fits perfect. I mean, there's no digging in and with some. It just gives you that high grip. Now, I'm going to break this down for you right now. One of the few firearms that I could break down on camera without pausing the camera. Of course, when you pull your slide back, there's a little button tab right here. Those of you who are familiar with Berettas, you press that in, and then you hit this release tab here. So, and then you could take that off. Yeah, finally I was able to do that on camera for once. Of course, you have your guide rod. Your guide rod here on this one is a steel guide rod, as opposed to other Berettas. Some of them will have the plastic guide rod, and I usually switch those out to put steel guide rods in. Of course, you have your barrel here. I always like the way Beretta makes its barrel. I think when I did my video for the Hudson, I have mentioned that it had this kind of like barrel lugging look of the top on the Hudson on that barrel, but it didn't have this portion. So I found that pretty interesting that Hudson kind of I'm not going to use the word copy, but kind of mimic that. That was pretty. That's one of the things that caught my attention. And let me see who got that in. Okay, we're doing well. Now, one of the interesting things also, as you see here, this is the Negrini case. Here, it's a lockable case that you could use on an airplane. It's also the same case company that does the AXG Scorpion that I had in my other video. Now, the Beretta does come with a couple tools, and everybody wants to know what the tools are for. One is for the adjustment for your rear sight right here, if it will cooperate. Maybe it won't. But you get the idea. You can use this particular tool here, and you could use it to adjust your for height and windage. And I don't know why my camera's not focusing. It's not cooperating. But in any event, that's what it's there for. Now, what's unique about this is that the you can adjust your reset and your trigger reset, as well as what they would call your trigger take up. Now your trigger reset. Now if I can get a pen or something to show you, and this is what you use that little Allen wrench for right here. That's inside this package. What you do is, and again, it might not focus well. Sorry about that, folks. But right here, that little notch, that little hole right there is for your trigger reset. So you can set the intensity for your trigger reset, whether you want it to be a little shorter or a little shorter, or if you want to increase the trigger reset so it won't be too short for you. Uh, then that's on the bottom one right here. Hopefully I won't knock the camera over, but that's on the bottom one right there. Now this upper one is for your trigger take up. Now if you want it, like especially if you want your take up when you have it in double action, your trigger take up can be a little bit long before it hits the wall. So that's what that is for. So I can demonstrate that after I get the firearm back together. It's pretty much simple. And I think that I did lock it back. And there we go. There's no decocking lever on this, so you either, if you do have a round in the chamber, you will have to use extreme caution and also face the firearm in a safe direction or somewhere at a range, that so you can at least let the hammer down safely by pulling the trigger and holding on to the side there. And when you release that down in that position, it's going to be in like a quarter cock mode. So that helps prevent from accidental discharge. So, but normally if it's in the cock position, like I said, I think the double action is just for just using half cock. I mean, it's just there to use for double strike capability. And let me pull the trigger to get that down. And one of the things that I liked in shooting this is there's no recoil. You don't feel anything with this because it's heft. And I know with some of the other Berettas out there, I've seen them on the Wilson Combat. I forget what they called this particular slide because it's really reinforced in this area. If you notice how it has that space that goes up here, and the name is escaping me uh, right now, but this is on some of their newer or expensive of firearms. So I noticed it first with Wilson Combat, and then Beretta started putting them on. Uh, and it does give a lot of weight, especially when you have this rail right here. This is a 1913 Picatinny rail, so you can put a light on this. I believe this. I believe was developed as a competition firearm, and if you watch some videos of the competitors who helped develop this firearm, they are really, really good with this firearm, very fast with this firearm. But and it confuses me with the accessory rail for the light, but I don't know anything about competition, so I can't speak on it. And one of the only things that I don't have a complaint, but I noticed during firing, I did about a 200 to 250 round session, and I noticed as my thumb was on the takedown lever or slash gas pedal right here, I noticed it got kind of warm. It got kind of warm. Not nothing too bad where it burned me or anything like that, but it did get warm under a lot of shooting because what I was doing was I kept shooting rounds. The only time I took a break from shooting was to change the target out. And that's one of the things I noticed, the heat. So uh, I went from this to kind of like holding it like that. So just to give you an idea of a little bit of warmth that's there. And that would be the only thing I would mention. Other than that is I think that the mistake that Beretta did was they should have given you three of these magazines instead of two. Three of these either at 15 or 17 round mags, or give you some extension mags, since these are competition for, supposed to be for competition. And I don't understand why they didn't do that, but they do on their website have extended magazines. Now, if you look under here, there's nice beveling right here, so you can get that magazine in there pretty fast with this decent base pad. So I will be ordering uh, another magazine plus the extended to see how that works. Other than that, I want to show you some targets, which I like to do. I probably showed them on the video, the teaser video. Uh, these were my first shots here. My first shots. This is roughly 10 yards. And I was just trying to get a feel for the firearm itself. As you see, I was off here and off here. The thing about gripping this firearm, long as you line everything else upright, and this is why I said I don't need to adjust this at all. If you aligned it right, keep a locked wrist, you're not going to have a problem with accuracy with this. And this is why I said CZ is in trouble. This was made from their competitors at Beretta, or they had a lot of input. And I know they knew the competition was from CZ. CZ has a slew of firearms from the custom shop or whatnot. I even have several custom shop guns from CZ, and they are outstanding. But this is scary. This is a firearm that's going to put CZ on their laurels. Basically, they're going. CZ's going to have to open their eyes and look who's coming behind them, because with every great manufacturer, there's always somebody out there to knock them off a peg. And that's what the 92X Performance was for, to be out there as a competitive firearm to go against the competition. Like I said, during shooting of this firearm, you literally don't feel any recoil at 9mm, because this is pretty much a hefty firearm at 47 ounces. And again, shot low at the beginning, trying to center out, aimed a little too high. This was all stupid grip stuff, so I was off the paper there. This one was at 10 yards again. I was taking my time trying to center it out. This is what I like to do, is try to get it as center as possible inside the 9, and I like to blow out the center of the red. This would have been a perfect target if I wouldn't had this one off the circle, and these two out here. And I challenged myself and pushed myself at 15 yards, and I did not do well. I thought I would have to compensate for the distance, and I should have stuck with my first thought. Again, a grip issue right here. That's all on me, throwing the target off. This was more of not gripping properly and turning my wrist. This was anticipating where the shot was going to be, so I shot down. I tried to come up a little higher just to see. And I thought I was, I don't know what I was thinking. I was doing something wrong, and realized that these shots here was probably grip. So I had to calm myself down. More shots here. But because I shot low here, I thought I had to come up high. And again, those fundamentals, and that's why you go to the range. You keep doing, keep shooting, and you'll get a little better. This is, like I said, this is at 15 yards, and usually I only shoot anywhere between 7 and 10, but it's good to expand sometimes. Okay, what I want to say in closing is this is a outstanding firearm. It is comparable to me to a CZ Shadow 2. Um, the trigger is just crazy smooth, and the weight of the trigger pull, it can be anywhere from one of the CZ custom shops. They Beretta needs to expand on this line if they're going to keep doing firearms like in this competition mode. So they need to come out with maybe a smaller or larger or optic ready or whatnot. All right, with that said, I'm going to end this. I talked too much. So stay happy shooting, stay safe, hashtag 2A.